Welcome everybody to the GitGud EU Advanced Grand Finals. It is I, Toasty, going to be joined here by Rudy to bring you today's coverage. And this will be a good one, Rudy. We don't know too much about these teams, but it will be a banger given the past history of these teams going into this game.
Yes, we do have the two teams who have made it to the grand finals. I should say this is a grand final match between in the GGEU Advanced Division. We have Siberia versus Beaver Esports, and right off the bat, I gotta say, loving the slick logo design on both of these teams. We just had a logo contest, and I'm surprised these two didn't make the final cut because looking pretty clean.
Yeah, you're certainly a logo connoisseur yourself, as
Oh
we've seen
yes,
from
for
our past
sure.
casts. But yeah, I completely agree. These teams should have been up there, but alas, we will take a look at these rosters. As you know, there's a lot of names here we do not recognize, and in fact, something crucial here is that the only name I did recognize is not currently in the starting roster. That would be Centimeter, who apparently is not in on off tank. So now we absolutely know nothing about these players, but we do have Kubasulu, Lagrange, Spastric, Royal, Hyadromods, and Remy's on one side, and then Cake, Ast, Binsky, Skari, Tiers Rolls, and Ormida on the other side. That will be Siberia. So this is, I mean, we can't say much about these rosters. We're just going over them for the sake of it, essentially.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any prior footage of these two teams, but evidently the results speak for themselves. You know, the advanced division for the GG EU side has been sort of, not say shallow, but limited in a sense. Only 6 teams made it into overall playoffs, I believe. And out of all these teams, it was, these two that made it to the grand finals. Beaver only dropped one map, apparently, in the upper bracket, thanks to your stellar research, I should say, Toasty, is where I'm getting this information from.
Yeah.
And by stellar research, I mean you just looked at Battlefy, I assume.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
based on Battlefy, Beaver have only lost one map throughout this playoffs, and they are currently 3-0 from that upper bracket. So they've been tearing through. And a critical thing to mention here is that all the teams that Beaver has been tearing through are ones that Siberia has had to go against in the lower bracket, because Beaver sent Siberia down there. Siberia have had to fight through 2 3-2s and a single 3-0 to get here. So one, their motivation is probably through the roof right now, and secondly, we can take from that Siberia are probably the underdogs coming into this.
Yeah, it's actually a bit unfortunate too for Beaver because I believe we got a little bit of information that one of their main players, got a wrist injury, and so they're playing with a sub. And I assume a couple of these players are also subs, to be fair. But you know, playing with another main tank could be a crutch for Beaver Esports. So it'll be interesting to see which team comes out on top. The one that had that really dominant upper bracket run, but has a new player to work with, or the one that has worked their way through the grudge and the or not the garbage, but they've worked their way through
Yeah.
the lower bracket.
Yeah, absolutely, and you gotta love those underdog stories, right? Siberia, definitely not rooting for them coming into this, but if they win, I mean, that'll be the story of a lifetime there. But yeah, looking at this map we're coming onto first here, it'll end up being Oasis, which is probably a map that it's gonna have a lot of variety in compositions, right? Because University, you can play some rush stuff, you can play a lot of Winston or ball-based comps on the other two, so there's a lot of variety here, and really we don't know what to expect coming from these two teams specifically.
Yeah, Oasis, I would tend to say that it's the control map that has more of an emphasis on rush, I would say, because it has a couple of closed-in areas. You do have gardens, which is pretty good for like double shield or dive, but I think whenever you're talking about city center or the library, rush is a pretty good option for both sides. But yeah, I mean, definitely control is one of those map types where there's just so much diversity in what you can play. And honestly, that first control map is gonna it might not be indicative of the entire series because of that. Especially since we've got
Yeah.
like an extended series on our hands. Remember, folks, this is a first to 4. All right, we are in it for the long run. All right. We're not
Yeah.
gonna. We're not gonna. No, it's nothing like what happened earlier tonight is gonna be happening. I can assure you. We've vetted these players. We're making sure that no 4-0s are happening on our watch. I'm watching you,
Yeah,
Siberia
not on
Beaver.
our
Give us a
watch.
good show.
Maybe on the previous Prod team's watch, as there was a 4-0 in the rookie division
They
we
just
just
got too
had,
late.
but
They just got like
yeah.
they let their guard down. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we shouldn't. I hope we don't have a 4-0 here. I mean, it'd be hilarious, especially if Siberia are the ones to pull that off after being 3-1 by Beaver prior. But I mean, crucially here, we're going to be looking at a very, hopefully, tightly contested series, as Siberia have been forged in the fires of the ELO Hell Esports lower bracket. So hopefully they'll have a pretty good chance coming into this, as will Beaver, obviously being the more dominant team, not losing a map in playoffs. They do actually have the worst regular season record, I believe, so quite interesting to look at there. But they have stepped it up in playoffs, so.
Yeah, it all depends on what happens in playoffs, to be honest with you. Regular season, schmegular season, as they say. Nobody has said that in the history of humankind.
Nobody
but you know
has
what?
ever said that.
Now I have. Write
Yeah,
it
I
down.
mean, yeah, I'll write it down. I'll keep it in mind for the next time we cast together. But yeah, this should be a banger of a game, like you say. First of all, we're in for the long haul here, especially if these teams are closely contested, which it hopefully should be. And in all reality, like we got to consider how that will affect the mental of these teams, right? Siberia, sure, they've been the ones that have been forged in the fires of lower brackets. They're the ones that probably have the superior mental coming into this because they are able to bounce back from close games, especially in the long haul if this goes to a 4-3. Whereas Beaver, they've kind of had a breeze through the upper bracket, and maybe they don't have that kind of experience that will allow their mental to kind of be fortified in this game.
Yeah, for sure. But nerves are also a factor, I would say. If you really want that victory and, you worked so hard to get it, it could be a case where, they let it go at the beginning, or they let it go at the beginning of the series, and it all just kind of trickles down from there. While on the side of Beaver, your confidence is at a all-time high, but that confidence, when you start to lose, is it going to get shattered? There's so many options that, it could go from here.
Yeah, absolutely. But we do have the game starting up here. We'll be on Garden as our first map, and we were actually wrong about the rosters previously. Those were the incorrect rosters shown, as we do have Centimeter in the lineup here for Beaver.
We got a couple of them right.
We got a couple
we got
right.
we got like not enough to get a passing grade, but it's enough to where your math teacher looks at your quiz and it's like 5 out of 12, and he's like, okay, well, there's hope for you.
Yeah, exactly. But here we go. The teams will be actually rolling out on very different compositions here. We've got some Winston Diva from Beaver, and then Siberia are onto these kind of ball hog compositions. So this is interesting. You usually see the Diva or the Zarya played with this, but we're ending up seeing the Roadhog as an early pile drive into the back from Binsky. Has to try and get out of there before they get hacked up by the Sombra, which does actually happen. But they are being bailed out by the rest of their team as Beaver look for an engage somewhere. I mean, you've kind of got limited options here against a ball comp, but should be possible either way, especially on the sidelines onto this Roadhog, but Skari is going to get that hook through. Binsky falls though, so the res has to come through from Armida, and now Skari is going to start just losing that health pool very fast there. Gets taken down, Armida to follow it, and Beaver should end up taking this initial cap.
Yeah, these two compositions are really all about, the differences all about teamwork versus individual play. On the side of Siberia, you're really counting on one of your DPS players or the Roadhog to make some sort of pick off, make some sort of individual play. And it looks like Skari is actually going to be switching here, so they're going to go with the much more traditional kind of wrecking ball dive composition rather than trying to force the Roadhog, which it could work in some instances, but when you're going up against a rush composition, it's not too likely.
Yeah, we're looking at some interesting content here as Centimeter eats up a pulse bomb, and Cake Bjorn and the Lucia will end up falling there. Yeah, sorry, our observer's controller died there, but now we get the bomb coming through. Sentinel looking to zone off the point, but there's that barrage coming through from Ast. Catches Mellors and single-handedly is taken down the back line. Siberia looking very strong in this team fight. They'll clean up onto Mufat. EMP comes through in retaliation, though. Spy Agent trying to even things up, but there was not enough follow-up, and it should end up being a flip coming through.
Yeah, despite how powerful EMP actually is in this game, I don't think it's necessarily strong enough to win you when you're down 4 players. Commend the effort, but honestly, you really could have used that EMP for the upcoming team fight. Now all you're going to have to work with is a beat and a Primal Rage. Who are you even going to target the Primal Rage for on the enemy team? You have Lucio and Mercy as backline targets, both of which are pretty capable of surviving on their own.
Yeah, absolutely. Power Drive comes through there from Binsky, though, to deal a bit of damage as Siberia actually have to back up because their forest has been hacked up. In fact, they're going to use the beat. Both beats coming through, so Beaver and Siberia at each other's throats right now. Although the Power Drive comes through and somehow Ast goes off of the map. Cakebjorn going to use a Pulse Bomb, but doesn't actually catch anything. Deals a bit of damage, but now it's all down to Mufa and trying to kill off that Mercy. Almeida's going to end up falling, but there we go. A massive play coming through from Scary with a 2k remake kill, and that bomb onto Mufa. I mean, that keeps things going here for sure for them.
Armida barely gets out with their lives there, but the bomb is just good enough, shattering the Winston shield, and, you know, they're not going to pop Primal Rage because they think they're safe within the bubble. It's a bit unfortunate for the side of Mufat here, but you got a lot of ultimates to work with going into this double tank ultimates as well as the Pulse Bomb, but this Mines might be enough to ruin your day.
Yeah, kind of some space off there. Yeah, it doesn't actually catch a kill just yet, though. Blink wins the Tracer duel against a Cake. Now it's the Barrage, though. Ast gets 2 again, single-handedly taking out that back line. Hydra and Mellows sent back to that spawn room, and hopefully that should allow an opportunity for Siberia to get back into this, but their Lucio's fallen, their Bull's fallen. Where's all their mobility gone? And Siberia should lose this team fight as Beaver come in very strongly with a recontest there.
Very nice focus fire on the side of Beaver. You really needed that in lieu of both of your supports dying there, and exactly what they did. And now they've got Coalescence to work with. Very good engagement and EMP if you really need it. They've got the tools to win this map. Meanwhile, on the side of Siberia, you really need to focus on making sure your Pharah can once again get up to that, not Primal, I was about to say get up to a Primal, no, get up to a barrage of their own. But Cakeborn goes down.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate. Mufat getting that first pick off, and it's really crucial at 80% as well. You're going to be looking at maybe one fight territory. A Spy Agent looks to come through and get a hack, but it will be Armida falling, so Siberia just getting forced back and back. They probably have to recontest without that Mercy.
Yeah, without their Mercy, and also the fact that they still have EMP on the enemy side. Spy Agent holding it very smartly here, and now just looking for an opportunity to use it.
Yeah, there's that Pulse Bomb though. Blink takes out Binsky. The ball is gone. EMP might have to come through here from Spy Agent. Catches it onto 3. That includes the Pharmacy. And now Mellows is going to be one to fall instead, actually. So Cake looking to equalize in this team fight. The bomb comes through. Scary trying to zone some people off. As Mufa is kind of caught in the middle of nowhere here. Taking a lot of damage. Going to end up falling, it looks like. Binsky hacked up, but can still deal that damage. Blink takes out Armida. It's trades going either way right now, as it will just be a scrap on this point. The mines expire, and we're back to basically a completely neutral fight here, but that hack comes through. Tizia rolls will end up falling to Centimeter, and it looks like Beaver will end up coming out on top as soon as they get this cleanup going. Ast will get taken down 94% towards that barrage, and there we have it. Beaver take the first round.
Yeah, if that first round was any indication, I think, Toasty, our prayers have been answered. We have a series on our hands here, by the looks of it. Very good from Siberia to keep it going as long as they did, but Beaver managing to get those key pickoffs, even without their support backline at times as well. The EMP from Spy Agent was good in catching a few members, but ultimately it didn't catch Hydra Mods, who was just sitting with that beat on the ready. And now it looks like both teams are going to be making the switch over to the standard rush comp with the Maze, and I assume Blink is going to switch over to Cassidy or Tracer after this Symmetra, or they might stay, actually. No, it's gonna
A
be
Reaper,
actually.
okay. So I'm
don't
guessing
see it
that's to play a
often.
lot more aggressive. You don't see it often, no, but hopefully it should work out here for Beaver. As they do get walled off early, actually, Mufat has to back up. Immortality's invested on both sides, so just looking like your typical brawl mirror here, but Spy Agent just completely on an off angle, has to be peeled for by the rest of the team, but there's the walls coming through. Enemy are going to get de-mech'd in the midst of this, and Siberia with that initial point control and that de-mech will get that point cap coming through. And it looks like Beaver are kind of lost. I mean, they don't know where to engage from. It looks like they're just poking around looking for maybe an out-matrix here. There we go. Mellors uses it in the small choke. But there's a shatter from the sidelines. Binsky bringing that down upon Beaver, cleaning them up, taking them down, sending them to that spawn room.
Yeah, it was a trying to engage with windows while the fact that you had a baby diva on the field too. I mean, kind of an odd decision, but it's one that they have to live with now as they're going into double support ultimates. Not only this window, but a beat to work with as well. Unless Mufat finds some big shatter here, I don't see this turning out well.
Yeah, that flash comes through to peel for Mufat, as there we go, the shatter actually comes through, 3 down to the ground, but Siberia, I mean, they're pretty healthy here. They take out Blink, and it looks like Cake wants to try and take out the Diva Mech of Centimeter as well. Looks like a bit of an overextension, if I'm honest. Spy Agent has fallen as well to the bomb, and Siberia, they look like they can hold strong. Cake falls, but that doesn't really matter in the wider scheme of things.
Yeah, it was that window that, got the damage through in the first place, and the beat as well to keep their players alive, as well as the peel for the backline as well. Ooh, nice little stagger onto Hydra mods there, and they're looking at a pretty comfortable 70% lead with a couple of ultimates to spare. These competing Blizzards are really going to determine who's going to win this portion of the map, I feel.
Yeah, that beat from TZ rolls, though, I mean, that basically counters the Blizzard, if anything, or
true.
the Death Blossom that can come through from Blink, so lots of potential for Siberia to just stay on this point and do their own thing, in all honesty. There's a wall that comes through, trying to zone some people back for Beaver. And here we go. Here's a potential Blizzard coming through from Spy Agent, but they get taken down. Now it's Blink that has to try and Death Blossom, but they get shattered. They get stunned up, sorry, by Cake, who then uses a High Noon. A bomb into the back, Centimeter trying to equalize, but doesn't catch anything. And instead, Mufat is the one to fall. Siberia looking pretty strong. They can use the Blizzard now if they really want to, but is it even necessary? I mean, they're just getting all the cleanup done. You got the Reinhardt swinging around, takes down Mellors, and that should be it here. Blink's gonna return, but will not have the staying power necessary. Blizzard's mirrored on both sides, and that should be it.
Yeah, you have to wonder if that round was the result of the difference between, heroes like Cassidy and Reaper. Reaper's pretty good in sort of the situational scenarios where you want to melt down the tanks, but Cassidy's just an all-around better hero at the moment, does more damage, provides a little bit more utility as well with his flash. So Cakeborn doing an excellent job here, while Blink isn't able to really get that much value out of their Reaper. But here, however, actually no, I said they might pull it out with the Winston composition, with the Winston Rush. They're going to be playing it up against the Reinhardt Rush as well on Control Center. And I would say, I think Winston is favored most of the time just because of the added mobility, but it really does depend on how you use him.
Yeah, absolutely, and the matchup here is so... It's going to be so dynamic because you've got kind of a very assassination-based composition here for Beaver. The Sombra Tracer can deal a lot of damage to individual targets. Almeida has to watch their back. As you see Cake go on the off angle here and look for that Tracer, actually gets him quite low to pretty much 10 HP there. The Siberia rotate around to the other side of the point, and they're playing parallel right now. They do not want to be at a disadvantage on this low ground.
I mean, they have to. They can't really rush onto, the Winston composition, really. They have to wait for the fight to come to them, and that's exactly what they're doing, just forcing them to slowly inch their way towards them, and then hopefully when they get close enough, they just hammer them away with actually literally a hammer in the case of Reinhardt.
Yeah, lots of damage coming through onto the Mei there, so Siberia have to kind of peel and back up there. You actually get a wall off onto Mufat, but nothing gained instead. Blink from the other side gets hit by an icicle. Ast with a nice shot there, opening things up, but there is a D-Mech that comes through. Not D-Mech, sorry, I don't know what I'm on about there. A lot of damage that comes through though onto Binsky. In fact, it won't even be falling, it'll be Mufat instead, and it looks like Beaver will have to be the ones disengaging.
All right, so now you've brought the fight to them, and now you have a little bit of leeway. You can push up a little bit now that you know that this Winston is out of the equation as well. Get a little bit of more ultimate on. That's a massive little stagger onto Blink as well. I think AST has had Blink's number all game, honestly.
Yeah. Really has. I mean, that icicle from before and that one there buys a lot of time here for Siberia.
Armida checking if their gun works. It does indeed. Good job, Armida. Gotta do gun maintenance all the time. And now, oh, Spy Agent goes down!
No!
AST is
Spy
just a
Agent.
monster with these icicles.
Yeah, I mean, AST has been single-handedly carrying thus far, and there's the eat onto the pulse bomb. But Mufat with 2 kills there. The bomb actually comes through from Senemir, doesn't catch too much. Sky's going to use one of their own, but it's just for a remake, I believe, as that is, well, that's a Primal Rage kill onto Binsky there after the pin. And that should be a flip coming through. I mean, despite the heroics of AST.
Yeah, you are going to see a little bit of staggering onto the point here on the side of these two players, but yeah, they are going to get the flip eventually. They did end up using all of their ultimates, however, on the side of Beaver. Siberia has the Blizzard and the Beat to work with. This Blizzard's going to be, you know, kind of hard to difficult to land on a team that's mobile as Blizzard, as Beaver is, but you know, you could definitely make it work.
Yeah, certainly, and you see this high ground control as well. They want to get up there and start dealing some damage, and I mean, there is a lot of damage coming through there, but instead it's onto Cake. In fact, the Senemir takes him down, and Siberia just have to back up. You cannot go in without your Cassidy, although they do have this high ground control. They can rain down some bullets upon everyone else, and if Blink kind of oversteps, I mean, they're going to get dinked by another icicle.
Yeah, but who are they going to rush onto, you know? They have to pick a target soon, and it looks like they're going to try to rush onto the Moira here, but they have the getaway option available to them, so they're going to be nice and pretty while Cake and Vinsky die again.
There's a beat, though, so they do get some aggression out of it, but the Blizzard investment when you're down 3, Siberia, that was kind of a questionable decision here, as Beaver start to equalize with the percentage, and yeah, I'm not sure about that investment, to be honest.
I guess the logic was that they have the Moira down, so if we lay down Blizzard, we might be able to get a few picks, but yeah, only 2 players alive when that Blizzard was actually laid down. So a bit unfortunate here, and now they're working only 30% left to work with. Looks like they're going to go the opposite direction, going to try to take control of that Mega, but then you're putting yourself at an even lower ground than what you were originally.
Yeah, and here's Spy Agent in the back looking to build up that EMP. A pulse bomb in actually forces out the immortality field, so Siberia losing resources and fast, as it looks like Blink almost gets forced out there, but will stay alive just barely. Spy Agent has that EMP online now, as that bomb from Scary doesn't catch anything. In fact, they're going to get hacked up so they can't remech, and now that Shatter comes through, but it doesn't catch anything, completely whiffs it, and EMP comes through onto 4 members, and it looks like Beaver will just tear through everyone on Siberia, and that is that. Beaver will be winning out the first map of Oasis here pretty promptly, and I mean, it was a close one, to be fair.
Mufat completing the touch the spawn door challenge just for you know, entertainment's sake, and they will be taking first map of the series. Remember though, this is a first of 4. Control maps are always kind of wonky, but if this is any indication of how this matchup is going to go, these teams are pretty evenly matched. Maybe not in the overall rush, you know, mirror match as we saw in the Library Garden. Vinsky just absolutely destroying they're absolutely destroying the enemy team, Beaver Esports. But yeah, maybe overall composition wise, these two teams really do have you know, a bit even on their sides.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these teams, when they're on different compositions, you can tell it gets really scrappy, really close. While Siberia kind of threw away their potential advantage in the latter half of that, it does seem like it will be a close series, although Beaver, coming from the upper bracket, naturally gets the first map here. So Siberia are going to have to mentally bounce back. We are going to look at the Tracer stats, though, for Beaver, because, I mean, this was really the determining factor. Blink was forcing out so many immortalities, forcing out so many cooldowns generally from Siberia, and this was something, I mean, you've got to look at as like going into the next maps is, you know, can Blink actually perform?
Blink living up to their name, you know, probably naming after that Tracer ability as well. 29 eliminations, not too shabby. And as a Tracer player, it really is up to you to secure those final blows as well. 12, not too shabby whatsoever. Would have liked to see an even 8 across the damage done, but yeah, I'll accept a 9. I'll accept a 9 being put in there for higher number, so I guess it's better, but would have liked to see a bit of symmetry.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the symmetry in there, but hey, Tracer's never been one for symmetry. That's symmetry you're thinking of. But yeah, I mean, coming into the next few maps, Blink is definitely someone to keep our eye on. While they were kind of being, I guess, DPS diffed by AST a bit earlier on in that last round.
They were catching Spy Agent,
it was alright. Yeah, exactly, right. I mean, that was just AST being AST. And really, Blink is a determining factor in Beaver's successor.
Yeah, but well, we are going to be going on to our next map in the series, and it is going to be Junkertown. Remember, folks, that it is actually an open map pool for playoffs, so any map is possible to be picked here. But I think teams will generally stick to the maps that have been available all throughout like the Swiss stages as well, because that's kind of the maps that they've been getting the most practice on. And Junkertown was a part of that. So, you know, a lot of these teams were practicing their Junkertown compositions. And, you know, Junkertown is definitely a map where you're not going to be seeing a whole lot of rush on Junkertown unless it's like to try to spawn camp the door at the beginning. Other than that, it's mainly a lot of double shield with sniper compositions and then dive if you really want to force it.
Yeah, we did see Junkertown in the last Grand Finals as well for the Rookie Division, and that was... I mean, it just seems like a popular map that teams like to pick, and I'm not entirely sure why. I'd much prefer to go to something like Rialto or Dorado, you know, something like that, but
well, I
that's
can
just
see why
opinion.
you would want to pick it if you have, like, a powerful hit-scan player who's just really able to carry on Widowmaker. Who's such
Maybe
a
Blink
powerful...
is that person.
Yeah, maybe for sure. I mean, he's definitely playing that Tracer, has some ability, and we see on defense here they are actually going to go for Ashe instead of the Widowmaker, which, you know, pretty effective in certain situations as well. And it seems to me that they want to play much more closely to their team as opposed to like Widowmaker, who would be, you know, far off in the corner, kind of on her lonesome. But yeah, double shield as well. And Siberia here, I don't think this is the composition that they're pulling out with. I think it's probably going to be like double shield probably. But Cakebjorn on the Widowmaker. So we will see that duel shortly. I'm interested to see how AST will perform on the Hanzo here, if they're able to get as much value as they were getting on the Mei last map.
Yeah,
sort
I mean,
of kind of like the same projectile-ish skill set.
Yeah, I mean, AST is definitely a sharpshooter, to say the least, and what's interesting here is the Widowmaker versus Ashe matchup. Cake basically has that one-shot potential that Blink does not have, but Blink is really going to be looking to combine with these pulls, combine with any bashes that happen, to try and get some dynamites, or just, you know, one-shot combos through, especially if you have a lot of damage already onto that target. Look at that, though, a nice pull onto Mufat, bringing them back and taking him down. So Siberia will be blitzing forward here, it looks like, especially with that Discord onto Centimeter. Look at the damage that comes through. Those Discords, so crucial.
Yeah, playing the Zenyatta here means that your tanks are going to be in so much more trouble of just getting decimated once those shields go down, and they just weren't ready for Orisa to just get mauled over there as soon as you know, her primary shield went down. So it's going to be an easy roll-in for Siberia. Cake actually making the switch over to the Soldier too, which is going to provide that consistent damage, which combined with Discord could be absolutely deadly. But they're going to have to, you know, like I said, burn through the shields first, which they're doing a pretty good job of so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and really, I mean, the people that should have been combining with the pulls was Beaver, but they didn't do that too well. They actually, you know, lost the fight to that pull, so it does seem as if they will go back to the Soldier, and really, this is more of like an off-angle type thing where you are, not back to the Soldier, that's Siberia that's going on to the Soldier, but the point still stands here, is the high ground control will be there for Beaver. Nice Dragon Strike, though, forces them away, so Siberia looking to push this payload forward really underneath that high ground, but this just allows for a bit of a crossfire from Beaver. I mean, look at them. They are, from every single angle, about to blow up this Orisa, it looks like, but Spy Agent gets assassinated by AST in the back, and that's a kill onto Mellors as well to really tip things into Siberia's favor, I was about to say, but Blink is equalizing, takes out AST, takes out TZ, and it should just end up being a win here for Beaver. That Flux does get cancelled out from Skari as well, but it does look as if Siberia are cleaning up. I mean, it's winnable, especially if Blink is here, but I wouldn't be so sure. Mufa gets taken down, and yeah, Siberia look like they'll... No, they won't take the dub. In fact, Spy Agent comes back, takes out the Orisa, and yeah, Beaver will be the ones winning that out.
It was kind of close. There was a, AST coming back on the Doomfist. It was possible for sure. Beaver, though, winning that. They got some ultimates left over, not just, committing the bot, but they have the Dragons and the Flux as well. Actually, a pretty powerful combo, if I say so myself, and Rally for defense here. And now AST is kind of forced to stick onto this Doomfist, which I'm not sure if... I mean, I think there was just a panic switch to try to get back to point quickly, but now they're going to try to stick onto it and make it work. You see them kind of like flanking onto the side here. Nobody really sees them yet.
Yeah, exactly. And that Flux comes through here, so you're going to force out the Transcendence, in fact, but Armida falls before it gets value. So TZ Rolls probably didn't have the line of sight there. Now the sights come through, so Cake wants to try and equalize alongside that Bongo, but look at that Dynamite. Blink catches 2 and single-handedly destroys the hopes of Siberia in that team fight. And look at the ultimate investments they had to put in. 3 ultimates for Siberia.
And the stagger onto Skari as well. I thought it was scary for a second. I was like, wait, that's not scary. Yeah, Rally and Flux both committed in that fight, manages to catch the Baptiste out really early on. And look at this, Siberia is actually going to be switching over to a rush composition. They want to force the double shield off of this high ground first and foremost. That is their top priority. And then I guess once they can get that, they can get a little bit of control of the cart. But you're going to be contesting a Bob and a Window here, and Bongo as well. So much damage.
Yeah, that's some tempo coming through though. Siberia right up into their faces. And Matrix is on both sides, but it will be Binsky that falls first. Mufat is just very strong in the face of all of that adversity. And it does seem as if a Beaver will be winning out that team fight. They just had the better rotation there. They backed up, they waited for the spam to come through. They used an Ant Matrix, and that allows them to win the team fight.
Yeah, and they save Bongo as well. Good job from Hydra and Melors to be able to, survive that onslaught of aggression there. It's kind of difficult to tell whether, to back away or to continue healing your tanks, but they made the perfect call there. And now Bongo all the way from back here as well is going to catch them completely off guard. If they can manage to find a few kills there, that'd be so good, but the May block is too powerful. And the Dragon Strike! Oh,
yeah, that is massive. Them. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, that just came down to the Bongo and the Dragon Strike, right? The Bongo does all the damage to get them all low, forces the immortality, and then Spy Agent just strikes with the Dragon Strike, as it's named. And Siberia are swapping again.
I mean, yeah, they're just kind of fishing for options at this point. It really does feel like they're just going to go with the strategy. Bang your head up against the wall, but look at how much time it's wasted for them. That 5-minute time bank has now been reduced to 1 minute and 10. And you're gonna try to build up ultimates here. I think realistically you're gonna just be able to build a nano and maybe a primal off of that, but like what else can you really do? I don't think you're gonna get getting played anytime soon.
Yeah, unless AST is as much of a sharpshooter on Genji as on the other heroes, I don't think you're going to be looking at a Nano Blade coming through. But there's the Pulse. Enemy maybe wants to use this Flux at some point. That's the only ultimate they have online, in fact. But Siberia taking this rotation underneath, so this isn't the position you want to be in. You're going to get spammed out in either the staircase or that bottom doorway, I suppose, as Cake goes up to the high ground looking for some spam. There's the Ant Matrix, there's the Flux, prevents the dive from happening, and ASD just slammed all the way down to the ground. Mellows with 2 kills, and Beaver are stabilizing here, it looks like. Siberia's hopes crushed in that team fight, a team kill in fact, and they'll be relying on Binsky to get back to that point.
Yeah, Binsky, but is he even going to be able to make it back before they just get blown up already at half health? Can you jump over that building?
Yeah, you can, but they're going to get taken down. They didn't have the chance to touch that point. Cake are going to try to get onto it, but unfortunately gets taken down before they can. And Beaver, I mean, they realize their win conditions. Just rotate the ultimates, use your pulls, play very far away from the enemy team, and there's nothing that Siberia could have done there other than mirror with an ultimate disadvantage.
Yeah, I think Mufat was the player that we mentioned at the beginning that was being subbed in because Beaver's actual, main tank that they practiced with was had an injury, but doesn't really look like they're a new player whatsoever. The coordination between them and Blink and Spy Agent is definitely showing up here, and they once again have the potential to win another map in this series. Meanwhile, on the side of Siberia, kind of scratching my head at their decision making. I get the idea of going for that dive composition with the Winston Ana when you have time on the clock, but you just didn't have any time whatsoever. And I knew it was kind of over the moment I saw them going up against the Rally and the Window. Like, those are two support ultimates. Like, if you don't have the nano for those, you're not accomplishing anything with your dives.
Yeah, absolutely. Siberia didn't really have much of an option there, honestly, in terms of compositions. I mean, like I say, they could have probably only mirrored or played a much superior dive composition a lot earlier, I think. But here we go. Stage is set. You've got the win condition for Beaver. You've just got to get to midway through that second point, which is a very achievable win condition, considering now you're looking at a near mirror. You've got the Brig versus the Mercy, the Torb versus the Hanzo, but the composition remains the same. You're going to be comboing those dynamites with the pulls.
Oh, Spy Agent takes out Cakebjorn in a fantastic first pick. They weren't even really set up anywhere where they could, get focused fired like that, but just a stray Hanzo arrow is enough to do the job here.
Yeah, and 50% already for Spy Agent, 60 in fact, moving up to 70. I mean, Spy Agent is just dealing all the damage right now. Almost has that Dragon Strike online, and Beaver are just going to keep on tearing it forward. They actually know that a Torbjorn's on the off angle. AST has to kind of get back to their team. They will manage to get there in time, but now Matrix can come through Armida. Gonna lay that one down, but there's a kill already onto TZ rolls, and there's the dynamite, deals a ton of damage, but it doesn't matter, because Centimeter has killed off Armida, Spy Agent catches the Orisa. It's a 3-for-3 trade, but there's the Mercy that comes through, reses up Melor, Centimeter falls, and there's a lot of trades coming through here, but it looks like it will be Beaver getting the better end of it.
Yeah, for sure. 4 players. Looks like you're not going to be able to contest here. You just need to set back up on the high ground. 5 minutes to go to get halfway through point number 2 here, or point B. It's going to be a kind of a big ask for Siberia as they're still getting set up here. They got windows available. They've got Flux potentially as well, and Bob. And then all you're really working against is maybe a Flux on the enemy team and that Torbjorn ultimate as well.
Yeah, Cake looking for an off angle there. I think Cake wants to maybe go for a couple frags, and no, we'll just back up. Doesn't really want to have the risk of being one-shot by Spy Agent. I mean, that is deadly. But Blink's the one that takes him down instead. Here's the Molten Core to try and equalize, zone some people off the payload, but Blink is just going crazy right now. Takes down the Orisa as well. And Beaver Esports, I mean, they're just going to use the Flux. They're just going to clean up here. And they are blitzing it through second point. I mean, there is no contest here. Scary is going to use that Flux. Takes down Centimeter. As now people are going to swap to stall heroes for Siberia to try and get back. But Scary is the only one who can touch the point alongside Cake, who does use that Bob. So there can be some damage and some stall coming through from that. And they have taken down Mufat, so there's some opportunity. But they kill themselves with the rock there. And it looks as if Beaver have basically no contest here. I mean, Siberia, they can't get on. Beaver are going to take the second map here of Junkertown handedly, and they are looking like the, well, very much predicted favorites in this series. I mean, they are making it look easy.
Yeah, slowly starting to see why Beaver had such a great run in the upper brackets, why they were the upper bracket representation here. They just their teamwork, their coordination looks really good, and especially given that they have a substitute player on the starting lineup right now. This is a scary team. This is a really scary looking team, and if you're Siberia, you really got to get your mental together if you want any chance of kind of having a chance in this series. You're already down 2-0. You only have 2 maps left to go potentially, so hopefully this break that's coming up will be enough to kind of reset themselves.
Yeah, we could potentially be looking at a 4-0 here as well, Rudy.
We might have
last
cursed
game,
it into existence. It's the caster's curse.
We may have cursed it. It's either the caster curse or the just general Elo Hell production curse. We don't know, but we do have a bit of a comparison, I guess, here between the DPS of Beaver Esports, which were both just putting in the effort there. Blink, obviously, on the Ashe is going to naturally have a lot more damage, and Spy Agent having more final blows on the Hanzo. But generally, I mean, these two players were the crucial ones, and I did highlight it in Map 1. Blink is such a name to keep our eye on here.
Yeah, if there was any sort of MVP vote, he'd definitely be up there. I do also want to give a lot of credit to Mufat, who was really holding it down on that main tank role. Good bongos overall, coordinating with the DPS, especially with Spy Agent. A lot of the times that those dragon strikes really coming in handy as well. And the backline as well, you know, keeping all of these players up as well. Got to give a lot of love to them as well. Kind of biased because I'm a support player, but you know, we take what we can get.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a filthy May one trick, so I don't really have much of an opinion on this, but alas, I mean, hopefully,
I bet you were just starry-eyed at AST's performance in map number 1. Then just
I was about to say, yeah,
hopefully.
Hopefully Siberia plays some more May. That was what I was about to say, because I think that AST on the May is brilliant. I just think that Siberia needed to play the rush a little bit faster, a little bit better on that Junkertown second. But we will end up seeing, if they decide to do that, in this, well, after this break coming up. So don't go anywhere. More coverage shortly.
They did find Cucumber, but he's going to lift him.
Oh, Wolfgang gets caught right into that, and Speed is going to be able to follow up. Taco coming over to the Doofus, talking about playing into the Doofus.
A manos de la bola. Ya son 3 las picks que conseguía el equipo de British Hurricane.
We need your help to decide our Opinion Outpost MVP of the match.
He's got a minute to kind of work some sort of pick against this Doc, and oh my good lord, he just got eviscerated. See?
Oh! He's not dead! Hey, now he's dead!
Holy cow, I've never seen someone get so aggressive.
Oh, catches their opponent outside of the building, and that is it!
It's Rocket League Wednesday on the High School Esports League home room. I am, as the kids say, vibing right now. This is just fumes for them, while Pharaoh rips shot after shot after shot of the back of them.
Good wall towards site, but it's already been broken, so they can't even get that spike down trustedly. Camera over towards site, and again, it's getting all that information. Epoch going absolutely massive!
Here in this map number 4 season, up on championship point, being up 2-1. Nifty dropped down to 19 HP. Joker with his M13 in hand is just trying to hold the angles.
Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Alright, 'cause I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before.
Healing that was coming up from them. And then the Ana goes down after that, and it was just quick cleanup. Resignations and Witty Wave really clutching out in the DPS department for SM, and they've got first capture crossing 15%. Ultimate's coming up online already. You're going to have Deadeye, and look, we've got Grab Dragons available from NS.
Oh, and they're gonna waste no time in committing it. The Graviton comes out. It was there, but it's not gonna get any.
Oh, excited. Thank you so much, Sibjorn. Living up to the beautiful strats from Roar Esports. They're gonna go ahead and teleport directly on the point, so they will be meeting them tantamount.
Nothing to try and eat it with, nothing to stave it off, no support ultimates. They've got a shatter. It might just have to be put in to keep the Bastion ult, but they don't care about this Bastion ult. They've got a Batiste!
Oh man, this is just nutty right now.
This is not something that you want to push in on, but it's going to be the bomb and the charge into Mansion picks up 3! All of the 3 that you want are Reinhardt, both of the supports, and this is the fight done already. Frost
Here it comes.
It does pull out the Transcendence, but the anti-mid gets...
Here comes back on the Doomfist, not hacked up by the EMP critically. Starjummer has the Deadeye, no hack this time around. Starjummer gonna clean up the fight, get 3, get the electric cowboy, we're dancing a fast.
This might be the best map for that in all of Overwatch, as we see the hook shot and
Bane with the silk thread shot, showing off.
Isn't gonna work well against the Ghost Confer. It's fine to but you're not gonna get through this.
I love watching teams that I haven't seen play before play. It's always thrilling.
Round 1.
It really is. It's wild cards. You know, it's something you don't get to see at the higher levels. You know, everybody's at least been seen usually at lower level matches. So this is always a fun experience.
Welcome back, everybody, to GitGud EU. We are in the midst of a grand finals series of the Advanced Division between Beaver, Esports, and Siberia, where Beaver, they're looking pretty dominant, Rudy, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, the first map was pretty even in terms of just, back and forth between the two teams. You did see a little bit of one-sided trickery going on with Siberia in terms of playing the Rush Mirror, but on Double Shield, Beaver Esports just absolutely dominated with everything that Siberia tried to throw at them, and they've had a little bit of a break now where they've kind of reevaluated. We do know the next map that we are going to in this series, and it is going to be the Eichenwald. So a lot more opportunity, I would say, for Rush to come out on the sides of Siberia here, if you're feeling a little more confident in that against even the Double Shield.
Yeah, because we were talking before about how AST is very, very proficient on the Mei, right? Sure, some of the walls were interesting, sure, the positioning was interesting here and there, but generally, I mean, the mechanics, like, they were getting random dicks onto tracers, they were taking out the Sombra in the middle of EMPs. I mean, that is the kind of performance on Mei that, you're a sharpshooter in that sense. So if you can actually get your stuff together, if you can become a better, wall user, if you can actually, play aggressive with the rest of your team as well positionally, then I think AST genuinely could be the best player in the lobby if they play Brawl and if they actually get into the swing of things, which is definitely possible coming into Eichenwald. You can play some regular Ryan Rush, you can play Ryan Sigma variants, you can try and put I don't know, I mean, this isn't Platz, so you wouldn't put a Far Mercy in that, but you could put like a Hanzo or a Reaper, right, and just play hyper aggro.
Yeah, I mean, on attack too, it's all gonna be about bridging that gap between where the defenders are set up. But we've seen on Junkertown that they're pretty well versed in their rotations, at least when it came to dealing with the rush on Junkertown. The way that they kind of maneuvered through that house in the middle and all the way almost back to their own spawn in terms of dealing with the aggression that was coming out from Siberia when they tried to go rush on point B. They might have something similar planned for Eichenwald. This just seems like a team that's really well coordinated. So, and that's kind of harder to play against when you're going up against a team that's well coordinated and also playing keep away bunker the way that they were on Junkertown. So I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Siberia, but I think definitely if AST maybe on that Mei or that Hanzo can, especially on the Mei, if you're going to be dealing with double shield defense, those walls are going to be crucial to bridging the gap and even, disconnecting some players that are trying to make the rotation with their team. If they can somehow separate them with the wall and then cause a little bit of confusion and and disorientation, that is definitely something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it looks like they're gonna be starting on defense here first.
Yeah, exactly. So Beaver, they will opt towards an Orisa D.Va, so not the Orisa Sigma we saw before, but you can play a bit more variety in terms of what you play with the Orisa on Eichenwald. It's a lot more versatile, and you'll opt for the D.Va here, so you're looking to maybe deal with any potential flankers in the back by peeling, that kind of stuff, which is very reasonable, I'd say.
You have also the Echo here for the spam damage, and they're going to get pocketed by the Mercy, so it's going to put extra pressure on Cakebjorn to be able to hit those shots for that Echo Mercy in the sky as well. And the fact that you're playing the D.Va too, you're right, totally right, means you have a little bit more diversity, a bit more a couple of ways that you can play with D.Va, either up close with the tank or going after flankers. Thankfully, no flankers on the side of Siberia here, though, so D.Va will be mostly with the rest of her team, and a huge wall, actually.
Yeah, that cuts off Mufat entirely. They can slowly get chunks down, but there we have it. Melos is going to take down Cake in return, so it's a 1-for-1 trade where you kind of neglect Binsky, didn't quite get enough healing onto them, used the immortality earlier as well, so Siberia kind of stuck in this weird position where they have to either back out or hard commit, and they can do neither because they're being spammed by this Echo.
Yeah, Baptiste desperately trying to keep them alive right now, but they try to go after Blink, get him somewhat low, but Mufat's now back in the equation as well. This window's not going to get much value. Actually, they're going to go after Mufat here, who's kind of all alone. Actually manages to get the pick off.
Neglects the Cassidy though, so Blink is going to get that kill through. Now it's a 5 versus 5 team fight, but Binsky falls second yet again. Melos takes them down again. This is what happens with Siberia. They neglect their main tank, and then they don't have the ability to put up a strong re-engage, so they lose about 1:20 off of just that maneuver alone.
They did get a tick, so there is one positive in that. They did manage to get some progress on the board, but yeah, generally speaking, you have a bunch of ultimates coming online for Beaver as well. I'm looking at Cakebjorn here. I'm looking at them to get a little bit more value on this Cassidy if they want their team to have a fighting chance here. But this Blizzard from AST could very well help him achieve that goal. Not if he gets caught up by the bomb, which he won't, thankfully.
There we go with the Blizzard. AST gonna try and get a couple kills off of that. Mufat is gonna be one of them, but again, Binsky consistently falling second in all of these team fights. Can't even get first place in anything, clearly, as it will be Cake trying to equalize here on the Cassidy. Uses the high noon even, but it's just gonna get kind of zoned off. You get taken down by the enemy Cassidy, and Siberia sent back to the spawn room yet again.
Mellors went actually insane in that fight. Both of the DPS went down, and they decided to take hands into their own hands.
Things into their own hands, yeah.
Decided to take things into their own hands with, I think, a double kill right there while the resurrection was coming off as well. So definitely a very balanced Baptiste player. And this Bongo up on the high ground here might be doing some work.
Definitely, and that duplication as well. Spy Agent can just get in here and force back that, well, anyone with the bomb, really, as they're going to be using it. Again, Binsky falls, and there's a kill, in fact, a double remake kill. The second one in this series takes down TZ and AST, and there we go, a team kill off of the back of that duplication. Spy Agent is popping off right now.
Very much indeed. 38% weapon accuracy. And you know, Siberia is getting these picks onto the front line, but it really is that support from the back. Hydra mods and Mellors just keeping, you know, themselves up while providing enough assistance with resurrections, with damage coming in from Mellors. You know, they're putting on an excellent performance here, and it really is allowing the rest of their members to, you know, be rest assured, even if they, you know, they're getting killed off. And now once again, a last-minute composition swap on the side of Siberia to heal. This Sombra is not going to get much value unless, you know, they get a massive hack or two.
Well, there's the bomb coming through. Centimeter catches out TZ rolls. There's actually 2 kills coming through there from Amida and Cake respectively. So now it's down to Beaver to try and fight for their place in this team fight. But they are going to slowly fall. Spy Agent getting zoned off there by the Tracer. Doesn't quite fall though. Instead, it's going to be Binsky on the ball trying to roll around, going a bit coggers here, but will get taken down regardless by a blink on that Cassidy. And that Lucia will end up falling as well as Spy Agent finishes them off. And I mean, it's just looking impossible here for Siberia. They're not going to be clutching up in this team fight, and now they have to try and defend for 4 minutes against, you know, 45% on the point. I am not very hopeful right now for their chances in this map. They really have to come up with something brilliant if they want to hold on.
Yes, indeed. And I think they also need to be a little bit more decisive about when they want to switch off of compositions. I mean, just that last-minute swap wasn't going to get you much value. Binsky goes... Kind of the story of this match is, you know, Binsky tries to push forward and then just gets deleted. Because there's just not enough support for him. So whether that's, you know, a coordination issue or on the side of Binsky or the rest of their team, there's definitely some type of problem here. While Beaver, they seemingly have no problem keeping their backline nice and happy, nice and alive at all times. And it looks like they might come out with the rush here. Meanwhile, Siberia struggling to pick what they want to do here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think tending towards the rush is, I think, a decent idea. It's kind of an all-around composition that you can use for anything, as long as you keep Binksy alive. Binksy, not Binsky. It's, the name is weird. But yeah, Binksy is definitely someone you've got to keep alive here. Siberia have been letting them fall repeatedly, second or first in these team fights, and if you do not keep your Reinhardt alive in Brawl, it isn't Brawl. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, but Toasty, we've neglected to mention one thing.
What?
ASD's on the main.
Let's go!
Your favorite
Here we
player
go. Here's
has returned.
the map win. Siberia gonna full hold off of AST's May. Let's hope.
Honestly, they might, because the rush mirror that they had on map number 1 was actually pretty one-sided in terms of Siberia. So
well, let's see. I mean, Blink falls first, so yeah, Siberia getting immediate kills through, and this is a change of tempo. You saw Binksy go for kind of an inspirational pin there, but this time around, Siberia actually pushed in with Binksy. Crazy, I know.
It's a revolutionary idea. It's, you know,
yeah.
Only a madman could have come up with that on their own, actually. But, you know, Siberia did the impossible there. No, but honestly, like, I think this team is a lot more in tuned when they're playing the Reinhardt mirror to support Binsky on that Reinhardt than on any other time where they might get distracted. There's a lot more, but with a wall is actually going to block off this window so much. And Cake Grown actually goes down. That's a mass pickup, but the Shatter!
Yeah, manages to catch Centimeter, so there's going to be a D-Mech, but Binksy falls again. Blink with 2 eliminations to potentially crack things open for Beaver. They've got to just wait around and re-engage when they feel it's right, and there we go, Blink. Another kill onto AST, and that looks like it. Here is just clean-up duties, and Beaver will take the 3rd map here on Eichenwald. I mean, what more could you want from this team? They are 1 map away from winning the Advanced Grand Finals, and in all honesty, they're looking unstoppable, even on that Brawl composition.
Yeah, there was a little bit of hope there on the side of Siberia. They looked slightly more comfortable playing that rush mirror, but at the end of the day, it was just the heroics from Spy Agent, honestly. Like, not only through the echo that we see through here in this play of the game, but also on the May, getting a crucial wall to split up the window and split up that main tank, you know, Binsky, making sure that he is dead. And then they actually which is, kind of surprising to me. They regrouped around that center tower and waited for some of their abilities to come back online before making another push in. Most teams would have just like tried to rush as soon as they saw that they had
Yeah.
like a 2-man advantage, but they actually like calmed down a little, and you can really see that this Beaver squad is just really level-headed.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, they have the discipline that I think a lot of these teams will lack. Siberia, what they do is they take that early team fight and then they'll lose a couple players and then they'll just hard commit and hope for the best, right? Whereas Beaver, they have that opportunity even if they're, demacked, for example. They just hang back, they wait for resources, and then they re-engage. Here we'll end up seeing the stats from Blink, actually, when they were playing Cassidy, and it is probably immense. Yeah, look at that. Over half of their eliminations were final blows, and that just goes to show that they are the ones finishing off these kills consistently.
They are the chosen ones indeed. Honestly, this match feels more like a battle between Blink and Spy Agent to see who can find the most value on DPS. Honestly, who can be the carry. Obviously,
Melors as well.
Yeah,
DPS
Melors.
Baptiste.
I'm just saying. Yeah, Melors is definitely making a huge impact on that Baptiste as well, finding those frags when Blink and Spy Agent does. But I think it just goes to this overall team synergy kind of concept where if it's not the two DPS players that are making the final blow, it's the support. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, and really, you were mentioning how it is down to that tank line over on Junkertown anyway, and how well they were gelling with Beaver, and usually you'd expect those to be getting a good chunk of the eliminations, but it is those three, Melors, Spy Agent, and Blink. Those three players are the ones really dealing the damage in these teamfights, and that kind of aggro Baptiste play is something that defines a lot of very good Baptistes in the community in general, right? People like ML7, you've got people like Violet, Twilight, Alarm, who unfortunately, we know the news about that, but obviously all good Baptistes have that capability to pop off at any moment.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a balance, and you could be more aggressive as a Baptiste as well. But I think for right now, Mellors is really playing a game where they are focusing primarily on healing, and while tending to deal damage when one of the DPS is either dead or he's stepping up to the occasion. Basically, is what Mellors is the game that Mellors is playing right now. A very balanced mindset. So. And honestly, if you have a good Baptiste on your team, that means you have a good Baptiste to play in both rush and in double shield, and even in like sometimes dive where you want the Baptiste instead of like a Zenyatta or a Brig or something like that. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like we'll be going to Hanamura here as our fourth map, the potential one that will allow Beaver to win out the Grand Finals. So this is going to be an important one for a potential reverse sweep to come through here. Now, Siberia, they are looking like they have a bit of a chance to stabilize. They were putting up a decent performance, and by decent performance I mean they won a team fight on Eichenwald, which is something for them.
They won
but really
team
crucially
fights on Oasis too. All right.
Yeah, I mean they've got the capability. They just need to make it consistent now, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just a quick reminder, like all of these Junkertown and Eichenwald were both picked by Siberia to like as the next map. They definitely were more comfortable on those maps than any others, and now going on to Assault, this is probably their most comfortable Assault map as well. I'm just saying, you can do some wacky stuff on Hanamura. It's probably one of the strangest maps in the game, which is personally why it's my favorite Assault map, because you can just pull out some insane strategies on Hanamura and it will totally work. But if you're focusing on, doing some wacky compositions with you can do stuff with like Symmetra, Bastion, Torbjorn, Junkrat, kind of a bunch of these niche heroes. If you put too much of your time and energy into doing kind of those wacky compositions, you might end up inadvertently booming yourself. I'm not saying this is what Siberia is going to do, but maybe. I don't think Hanamura was in the map pool for this season either, because I never really saw it that much. I might
Yeah,
be wrong.
I don't quite recall if it was or if it wasn't, but regardless, I mean, there are set play strategies, like you say. There are some wacky stuff. I've seen Bastion Pharah be played here. I've seen some Symmetra, Reaper stuff.
I just never saw it.
Yeah, I think it was a rare map to see, so it's interesting that's being picked here. Siberia, definitely maybe a comfort pick, if anything. And really, their last-ditch effort to try and get back into the series and, you know, make this reverse sweep happen.
Yes, for sure. We're definitely going to be seeing some, you know, hope for, I'm not going to say a miracle, but yeah, maybe a miracle.
It would be a miracle, yeah. I mean,
just depending on how just good Beaver Esports is playing right now, it's, you know, you're hoping for something to come online. And for these Siberia players too, like, what do you have left in you? Like, have you been putting in, if you've been putting in 100% of your effort to win all of these maps and, you know, so far nothing's worked for you, that's got to be taking a toll on your mental. It's just all so uphill from here. But on the side of Beaver, they're going to be coming out on their tried and true. And Spy Agent, let me talk, Spy Agent has been playing, like, I think this is like his 6th hero that he's played this series. He's playing an insane amount of heroes. He played Echo, Hanzo, Mei. I think he was on the Sombra, obviously. He's playing a bunch of heroes. Obviously, he's the flex, so kind of expected to do that. But I just think it's really crazy, the amount of heroes that he's played, basically since they've just been playing double shield this entire time.
Yeah, and Beaver, really, I mean, they've got flexibility, they've got pop-off power. Now they've got to deal with TP that comes through. Yep. There we go. Hydra's going to get taken down there. A nice kill from TZ Rolls to take out their opposite number, and it should just be some aggression coming through. Siberia getting into the thick of things. Gonna hopefully take down that Sigma as soon as that Immortality falls, but Centimeter's actually getting out alive. Pull comes through, so a lot of damage can be put down onto the Siberian members. But this wall from AST will be crucial in denying a recontest. I mean, they can just completely C9 them off, but there we go. A nice wraparound from I believe the Lucio to get onto that point, but there we go. Mufa and Hydra are both going to fall yet again, and Beaver are going to be sent backwards. Siberia starting off extremely well on Hanamura.
I mean, that was the pick-off you needed to open up that team fight, honestly. That pick on the Mercy, that you deny the res, you deny all of that healing as well, and you just catch these people off guard. And that's really the power of the symmetric composition. If you're not expecting it, it really is going to take you for a drive. And now Siberia has the tools necessary to potentially cap a second point, but they're going about it in a bit of a... Okay, they're going the long way, which is they're going to go through this left-hand side, but it looks like they want to rotate towards Centimeter on this Sigma here.
Yeah, and here's the Echo in the back, looking to maybe deal with that rotation, but no, doesn't actually get too much done. A bit scared, in fact, of AST, I would assume, as that wall comes through to deny the Flux, actually. Centimeter still catches there on the side, but, I mean, there we go. It gets a lot of damage. Spy Agent cleans up on it. It's actually coming around the side for an extra kill off as well onto the main tank, and that should be a stabilization now. Beaver are going to start building up some ultimates.
And they've got time to do so as well. Bongo and Bob is going to be able, like, if they TP straight to point, which is something you can do with Symmetra and then wall it off, the Bob is going to be there to stall while you then reassess how you're going to attack the people on points. But it looks like Siberia, they got options here. They might go for a little bit of fakes here. They might go for a fake down mid or maybe a fake up top, but it looks like they're going to be TPing straight to point.
Yep, and this should be a very easy point to cap as well, with that massive Symmetra wall that comes through. But the Bongo is there for Mufa, so they can burst through it. A Shatter goes completely wide there for Binksy, and it will be the Symmetra and the Baptiste falling here for Siberia, so that's just completely kills their momentum, right? They used a couple of ultimates there, none of them really gaining value, and now you'll see the swap onto Cassidy. They can't make the Symmetra work any longer.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate, but it's probably the right call to make. You do have Blizzard now, and that's going to be a very important ultimate for getting Mufat off of this high ground where he's just kind of been dominant all throughout this second point. And you have Bomb as well, who can definitely dislodge a few players. I think this push in particular is going to be their best shot in trying to break this hold and potentially capping second points just based on the tools that they have.
Yep, here we go, though. TZ Rolls is going to look to speed onto the Sigma. Centimeter bursted down in an instant. That is some focus fire. Now the bomb comes through from Scary to try and zone off that point. Allows AST to get onto it. As that res completely denied, actually. Hydra couldn't get that one off. And Ant Matrix does catch on Mida, so it will end up being the lack of healing here for Siberia. But they've got a tick. They're starting to build up to a little bit more, as well as Binksy taking down Mellows. But I do not think that that is enough for Siberia to really crack this one open. They got a little bit off of that, but not enough.
Yeah, a little bit. If they can get a Diva remake here, maybe. But
there we go. I mean, they take out Mufat, but yeah.
Oh, they're gonna get staggered out here, unfortunately. It was a nice attempt, but fortunately, Diva remake does not win you the game. Unlike what all the people, all the Diva Redditor players on Reddit might say.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah, you know the clips I'm talking about where there's people go for these insane remake kills
like
make me that are hilarious if you're on my team, but if I'm the one that's being caught out, I'm like, oh.
I remember Troy Hubin went for one in the Overwatch League as well. Remember that? That was funny.
I mean, it works too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not an awful strategy, but now we get the Blizzard coming through. So Mufat is gonna have to drop down and keep themselves alive as Mellows is just taken down. A nice freeze from AST to really make that one happen. And now Cake is building up towards a high noon as well. This could be huge, but there's the Gravitic Flux. Centimeter gonna force out the beat from TZ Rolls, but the spam just coming through. Blink is uncontested on the high ground, takes out Cake. Mufat and Centimeter fall, so there's no more tank presence other than that duplicated, copy there from Spige. And as Blink catches a couple more as well, so somehow the DPS line of Beaver has brought this one back, forcing Siberia back to that spawn room. What on earth was that?
I mean, it's like you said, Blink was literally just uncontested that entire time, spamming in the damage as well. I mean, if maybe Scary had gone up to try to contest them even a little bit, they might have even been able to get at the very least a second tick off. But unfortunately, we only got halfway through, and now once again we're seeing a swap for the ages. Siberia now on to a Wrecking Ball. I'm guessing to try to dislodge Blink off of that high ground, but it's going to be really difficult trying to do that while also dealing with Centimeter and Mufat that's on the high ground as well, trying to defend them.
Yeah, look at this chaos ensue though. I mean, they're trying to take down Blink, who uses the Bob, gets value out of it as well, as TZ Rolls ends up falling. Mellows contributing a good chunk as well, takes down a couple players. And Beaver are still looking strong even against a completely swapped out composition. And Siberia, they just have to rely on this Nano for the next team fight, because that'll be their final one, the deciding team fight.
Yeah, there really is just going to be one Nano here to try to get something off, but you got Bongo and a copy as well for Spy Agent, who's just been,